Donald Trump gets incredible election news, and Democrats are furious for being caught. Israel has been accused of genocide in international crime courts. Donald Trump's Georgia election case looks more and more rotten as the case moves for dismissal because of racial bias charges. Plus, the Georgia judge demands to know about the collusion meetings that happened at the White House and with the January 6th Select Committee. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. Don't miss out on today's earlier interview with Josh Phillips from the Epoch Times. He shares some bombshell truth about Nancy Pelosi and the FBI that made my jaw drop. I also want to thank today's video sponsor, Mr. 1920 Soap, the best soap in the world, and I'll tell you more about them at the end of this video. Arizona Party Chairman Jeff DeWit has announced his resignation following the emergence of a controversial recording. In the audio, DeWit appears to bribe Kari Lake to dissuade her from running for Senate. In defense, DeWit said the audio was selectively edited and denied trying to bribe or coerce her. However, he can be heard clearly telling her in the conversation, saying it never happened multiple times, but it's very suspicious. Now, ultimately, DeWit did not resign without pressure from Kari Lake's team, who reportedly threatened to release even more damning evidence against him. In response, DeWit accused Kari Lake of setting him up by pointing out that her responses were clearly rehearsed. DeWit stated the entire situation was manufactured to give her control and to make him look bad. Now, it's pretty clear Kari Lake knew she was being recorded, but then again, she stood there while someone tried to bribe her with tens of millions of dollars and told them, no thanks. Something many politicians probably have not been saying. Now, in a last-minute filing, former President Donald Trump's lawyers have filed a new legal brief to have Donald Trump's Georgia election interference case tossed out for racial bias. After it was discovered that District Attorney Fani Willis hired an underqualified attorney to go to Washington, D.C. to gather details from the White House on how they wanted Donald Trump prosecuted, it came out that the two were having a love affair. After Attorney Wade left his wife for Fani Willis, and Fani Willis paid him close to $700,000 in fees. Now, when this went public, Fani Willis went to an all-black church in Atlanta where she rallied the people by saying, because she's a black woman, that this was racism. Had nothing to do with adultery, hiring a lover, getting prosecution details from the White House, and lavish vacations. It had everything to do with her skin color, she said. Trump's lawyers are now arguing that she has publicly committed racial bias against Donald Trump for being white. Now, by making this case about skin color, she has actually made it more about Donald Trump being a white male than her being a black female. And for this reason, Trump's lawyers are saying that she has absolutely tainted the jury pool in a predominantly black district in Georgia. Now, Trump feels that he will be unfairly, that they will unfairly rule against him because of being a white male in a predominantly black neighborhood. And so for these reasons, they are having the case thrown out for racial bias. So it's exactly the opposite of what you would think. Now, I'll continue to keep you updated on what comes of that, but that came out just minutes ago. On top of this, the judge in the Georgia election interference case now wants full details about the private White House meetings and details about the private and secret meetings with the January 6th Select Committee. The judge wants details to ensure that this is not what they call selective persecution, where someone is singled out and persecuted and prosecuted. It appears the district attorney is using every dirty law trick to her advantage to try to get Donald Trump jailed because this would be a career-making move if she were to win. Now, speaking of Donald Trump, this is just so delicious. Data analysts have combed through the New Hampshire voting data, and they compared it to votes compared to voter registration up to just a couple of weeks ago. What they found is incredible. Donald Trump actually crushed Nikki Haley in New Hampshire, and I mean crushed her. Once you take out the people that last minute switched parties temporarily to vote for Nikki Haley, Donald Trump actually won New Hampshire by 79%. Nikki Haley only got 18%. So he crushed her, like absolutely dominated, wiped the floor with her. He won by huge record-breaking numbers. Now, the reason that Democrats switched parties was to try to boost Nikki Haley. But more than that, they didn't want the world to see that Donald Trump was going to win by such a large number. Now, with the true numbers out, it looks like Trump is winning like never before. I mean, he just absolutely crushed her. Now, Jesse Waters of Fox News pointed out something really, really interesting. During a segment on this story, he essentially said that the Nikki Haley movement is a total mirage at this point. She is being propped up by corporate donors and Democrats switching parties in order to make Donald Trump look bad. In fact, the former founder of LinkedIn, who is funding the Carroll suit against Donald Trump, was Nikki Haley's top election donor. Today, he announced he's pulling all of his money. He will no longer fund her campaign going forward. Now, don't be shocked when more and more people remove their money from Nikki Haley. My intuition tells me, however, that they're not going to switch their money from Nikki Haley over to Donald Trump. In fact, they may switch it from Nikki Haley over to finding even more lawsuits to bring against Donald Trump in order to bleed him dry financially and keep him in court versus on the campaign trail. So Jesse Waters pointed all of this out. Really, really interesting. Former President Donald Trump shocked the courtroom today when he testified in the Carroll case. Even though Trump's speech was restricted by the judge again, he said that he wanted to testify that he never met this woman. He said, "I wanted to defend myself and my family." After the trial, Trump was visibly frustrated because he's going to have to pay $10 million to someone he doesn't know. He said, "This is not America. Not America. This is not America." He said that these kinds of cases should not happen against people, as there was no evidence that he committed this crime. Now, even though Carroll won $10 million against Trump, Trump's teams have pointed out even more inconsistencies. For example, Trump's legal team argued that Carroll couldn't have been wearing the dress she said she was wearing when assaulted, because the dress didn't even come out yet. Attorney Boris Epstein stated, "She said this dress was the one she wore in 1994. They went back and they checked. This dress didn't exist before 1994. Even though people can get their memories mixed up, Trump went on to comment saying, "The truth is she doesn't know what day, month, season, year, or decade because it did not happen. End this witch hunt now." So he continues to maintain that he does not know who this person is. Former Trump White House advisor Peter Navarro is also under legal security right now. Navarro has been sentenced to 4 months in prison for refusing to comply with a congressional subpoena that required him to testify to the January 6th Select Committee. Navarro argued that Trump asserted executive privilege, which legally blocked him from discussing the event, which the court did not find evidence for. Assistant U.S. Attorney Elizabeth Alloy commented on the case, stating the defendant chose allegiance to former President Trump over the rule of law. He's already filed an appeal to avoid jail time, but they are trying to jail him, something that didn't happen to Hunter Biden. Isn't that interesting? Now, House Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has reportedly just backed away from his position on giving in to Biden's horrible southern border deal. According to Punchbowl News, Senator Mitch McConnell recognized that Trump is the nominee and claimed that he didn't want to do anything to undermine him. Now, what does this mean? It means that Republicans have held strong. Mike Johnson has held strong. However, this flip has made it even more unlikely an agreement will be reached between the two, which could spell disaster for Ukraine because they're not getting any more of our taxpayer money. Now, the reason that Mitch McConnell has such bad feelings against Donald Trump is for many, many months, he thought that Trump was behind the attack on the Capitol. But as more and more evidence comes out, even Mitch McConnell is admitting, wait a minute, maybe Donald Trump was set up on that day, and Nancy Pelosi denied 10,000 National Guard. She also wouldn't approve putting out proper barriers. That came out, and many, many other things. Now, Mitch McConnell's wife was in the Capitol that day, and so I think this is where those bitter feelings come from. I would probably be bitter too if I thought that someone was trying to get to my wife and ruin her life. So I get it, but on the one hand, the truth is coming out. And so anyway, that's your update there. Okay, now Israel could be in big trouble. Last month, South Africa filed genocide charges against Israel for the way in which they sought revenge against Hamas and because of the number of innocent people that have been killed in the revenge attack. The International Court of Justice has heard both sides of the story, those from Israel showing all that they had done to warn people before their attacks and their military method for going into Gaza. On the other side, showing acts of atrocity and death of over 20,000 innocent people. The court will decide if Israel has committed genocide. If they rule that they have, this war will be shut down as the international community will step in to defend Gaza. If not, then the war will likely continue. But Israel has basically told the world, mind your own business and let us defend our country however we want. Now, unfortunately for Biden, Democrats continue to sour on the issue of illegal immigration as they can't campaign on that as we go into election season. In Colorado, Denver hospitals are now overflowing with illegal immigrant visitors. The hospitals have stated, we have reached a critical point and can no longer function financially. Also, many airports are now complaining that they are full of illegal immigrants sleeping on the floor, benches, and chairs because these people sadly have nowhere to go. It's really, really sad. All right, now I want to thank today's video sponsor, Mr. 1920 Soap. This is the very best soap that you can get. It's beautiful. It smells amazing. Let me just open this up and show you one of these bars. Look at that. This is Bourbon Barrel, one of my very favorite smells. It won't make you want to drink bourbon, but you might want to bathe in it. Look at that beautiful, big, chunky bar of soap. They last for a really long time, and you're going to get a discount by using code AMAZING, and I will put that down below. But when all the other sponsors dropped me for being a truth teller, Mr. 1920 Soap, they stepped in and they stuck by me. And so please go support these guys. This soap is really amazing. This is Cucumber Melon, has just a really soft and gentle, beautiful smell to it. And then this is black soap. This just smells like the cleanest thing you've ever put on your body. I don't know how to describe it. It's really, really great soap. And they've been a great, great partner to work with. And I'm going to leave that link down below. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. I really believe that. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please give this video a like because it helps extend the reach on YouTube. Also, hit that hit that subscribe button. I'm not going to edit that out. You guys know I'm just raw and real. Hit that subscribe button. I want you guys to be a part of this really amazing community of truth seekers and truth tellers. Here's that interview from earlier today where Nancy Pelosi and the FBI are proven to have done things that made my jaw drop. You can also check out this video. Thanks so much, and I will see you on the next video.